Hey team, welcome everyone to your weekly video, what to watch for this week. This is Anthony, CIO with GAR Capital. Hope everyone is doing well. Happy Sunday, guys. I'm going to go over the usuals. We're going to go over economic data for the week ahead. Take a look at a recap of last week. And of course, look at our technicals, guys. Set some alerts on our futures so we are ready to rock for the week ahead. New week, new money. No trades are open. First things first, let's look at a recap of last week. Again, thanks for tuning in, guys. So SPY calls, we got those. Runner 50%, we got those at the end of the week after the CPI rip, the drop and pop and give back on Friday, guys. So that runner we actually got out at 100% on Friday morning. Netflix 210, this actually is 100%, guys. Just notice that it's 50. We got out at 100 the next morning, right at the top. So beautiful stuff. We sent that screenshot out as well. Netflix puts was a great trade, guys. Runner went over 130%. That was a nice one. We caught that flush. That was even before CPI. So we kept a nice, cool, calm, and collected total sniper mode this week. It was a lot of volatility. There was a couple of trades we wanted to get into, and good thing we didn't because we weren't right on those trades. So we skipped those. I know some of you wanted to get into some puts. We did get into Netflix puts. I mean, there was other opportunities out there. That's what you utilize our data for. I mean, we have the options flow, volume flow. We have all those channels for you guys to keep an eye on. If you see something you like, you can always ask a question, see what we think about it, see if we would enter it, etc. I mean, all tools are there for your disposal, guys. Our signals are what we are trading. So we are happy with that. 2 for 2 on a crazy week, up and down, going crazy. We are very happy with that. 2 for 2. Both runners went over 100%. It was actually a great week for us, guys. 2 for 2. Can't be mad at that. So moving on. Take a look at earnings, guys. Of course, as you know, we are starting earnings. Banks reported on Friday. This week, it looks like we have Bank of America to kick off the week on Monday. Tuesday, Goldman Sachs, Johnson & Johnson for the Dow. After the close, we have Netflix, United, Interactive Brokers. Wednesday, looks like we have IBM and Tesla after the bell. Alcoa. Thursday, AT&T, American Airlines before the bell. Snapchat, Whirlpool, and on Friday we wrap it up with Verizon, American Express, Schlumberger, a couple of Dow components there, guys. So decent week for earnings. Let's keep an eye on all that. All right, these are the names we're going to be watching. Of course, we look at the ones that we actually play, like Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Netflix, Tesla. See if we get some type of opportunity. See where the technicals are in terms of maybe we can squeeze some profits pre-earnings or post-earnings. All right, we'll have a watch list for you guys later. We'll go over a couple of those names, maybe Tesla and Netflix, guys. All right, with that said, move on to economic data. It's pretty quiet, guys. I mean, we already got an NFP out the way. We have inflation out of the way. So what do we have left? I mean, we have Empire State Manufacturing Index tomorrow. Some FOMC members speak. They've been speaking even over the weekend. He speaks Wednesday, Bullard. Thursday, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, unemployment claims, existing home sales, and Friday is empty. So pretty light on the data week, guys. But of course, earnings is here, so that's going to take the front stage. And of course, any Fed speak, of course. Sometimes they speak randomly and are not scheduled, guys. All right, so ES, NASDAQ, RTY, YM on the board here. We have the weekly chart frame. Reason why we have the long-term time frame is so we can get a bigger picture of where we are, guys. Of course, we trade weekly expiries, so we narrow it down to the hourly and 15-minute when getting into trades. But to look at the dynamic of what is going on, we have to look at the long-term time frame so we can see where is the potential for bouncing action. If you pull up the daily, if you pull up the 4 hour, you're just looking at a bearish chart. So you want to see where the actual next support is, which is the reason why I have it on the weekly. As you can see, this is the second week, guys, for ES to close at the 200 moving average. Okay, NASDAQ, this is the second week in a row it closes below the 200 moving average. And remember, this is the weekly chart. This is very crucial levels. This has always held for NASDAQ as far back as you can even see. Look at that. I mean, it even goes back. Last time we were below it was in the financial crisis, 09, 2010, looks like right there. All right. So anytime we ever came close to it or at it, we bounced. So historically, this is a nice trade to the upside, right? But we broke it. We broke that 200 MA on the weekly very decisively, and we did close below it. So technology usually leads the way down with when you have tightening financial conditions like the FOMC. So we want to really keep an eye on here, but this really broke down already, so I would expect ES to follow and RTY small caps. So looking at RTY small caps, as you can see, we did close above this support line, former resistance last year, now turns support. You got a double bottom here. Again, this is the weekly chart. Just look, we already broke all moving averages. You have the 50 crossing the 100, the death cross downside. Once the 50 crosses the 200, that is actually called the death cross. We will break this 1623 level and really open up that downside, guys. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna set alerts on RTY below support here, guys. So if we get that break, then we'll get more downside again. We're gonna set alerts here for the downside. Now for RTY, what is it that we're looking for upside? We're looking to overtake those last 2 weeks, guys, which is the 200 moving average right below that. So 1800, basically 1806. I'm going to set an alert there. Again, we're just setting alerts here on the weekly time frame just to get a real break from certain levels that we know would change everything. So we know above 1800, we'll squeeze back up at least another 200 points. We know below 1634, oof. I mean, we got a ways to go. We got about 200 points downside, so that's crazy moves to the downside, which is very definitely possible. We have earnings on the board. Let's see what they do. We're going to look at guidance. We're going to look at forecasting. Did they cut guidance? Are these companies scared? That's what we're going to look at, and that's going to be the big mover for the market for the fourth quarter here, guys. Because I mean, I don't think we have the Fed in October. They skip 1 month. I think they come back November and December. Depending how the data comes in, they might have to go very hard for 2 months since they had 1 month to skip, or not. Again, we'll see. So the Dow, guys, the Dow actually came back above close right at the 200 moving average. The Dow actually looks the best out of everything. We're going to set our alert above 3,600. We get above there. Remember, we have a lot of Dow components reporting this week as well, so that could be um, the culprit to bring us upside if they don't cut guidance as much. I mean, look at JP Morgan. They did great. So we're going to set our alert there. That'll bring us back up at least almost 1,000 points, guys. And we're also going to set our weekly alert below 28.8. That's if we break those lows and opens up the door to 26,000 or so, right around there. Again, we're on the weekly time frame, so we're looking at very big picture of everything. All right, guys. So there's our alerts for RTYYM. Back to ES and Nasdaq, guys, are the ones that we really watch. Again, we held this level, the 200 moving average. We want to see what happens here. Let's bring it back down to the daily. All right, take a look at the daily. As you can see, it's a little bit harder to see where we're at on the daily. That's why I like the weekly better. But again, we have the former resistance now acting as support. Let's see what happens off of that. Of course, if we break those lows, we're going to go a lot lower. Probably the next stop would be 3250, which is the total retest of the COVID lows. Let's take a look at that. 3514. I'm going to set an alert below 3514 for continuation to the downside, getting some SPY puts. See what's going on, guys. And of course, for upside, we're going to set an alert for 37.36. We get above there, we'll get a nice squeeze, probably a good 75, maybe even 100 and change points on the ES with that break. So our alerts are set, one for the upside, one for the downside continuation on ES. And Nasdaq, as I mentioned, guys, I mean, we did break this on the weekly. We broke the 200 on the weekly twice already. This one is a follow through. So it definitely looks ugly, guys. We want to put an alert for a continuation below 10.5. We get that. It's QQQ puts all day. All right, and of course we're gonna set an alert back above the 200 moving average. We'll probably get a squeeze job, like we did last week. They give it right back the next day. 11,250. We get above there. We'll probably get a squeeze job of about 300 points. That fake out for CPI. We had the bottom. We had the breakdown. Let me bring it down to the day. Actually, let me bring it to the hourly so we can take a look at this. So as you can see, when we had the breakdown, guys, we broke all types of support. Turns bearish, very bearish, ready to send puts. And again, good thing we did it, guys, because we recovered very nicely and we actually played calls and got out nicely. So when you see this high volume change, midday after a bad CPI print, that sometimes can lead to a temporary bottom. And we actually thought with those SPY calls, especially, we actually thought we did. We got out right here, guys, right at the top at 9:30. It's a Friday expiry. We're like, let's just hit it. And right after that, as you can see, it was cascaded waterfall down. So good thing we got out right there. But when you have these outside day reversals, in Nasdaq and ES in the market period, usually it leads to a temporary bottom and more squeezing action to the upside. But come Friday, they came right back and they crushed it, guys. So it was kind of like a curveball. We thought we would get a nice squeeze, a couple hundred more points on a Friday, especially after that. Usually when that happens, when you have like a 6% full day, I mean, you have 2% drop, you have a 3% rise. I mean, you're talking a total of 5% in one day, and that's just for Nasdaq. And I actually think it was more than that. When you have those types of reversals and types of days, it usually leads to more continuation the next day. But they gave it all right back, so it goes to show you the Bears are still in control, right? So all we can do is play day to day, guys. We set our alerts and we go from there. This is a day to day market. If you're trading long term, stick with our investment club, of course. You know, in the long term market, what you're doing here is you're hedging yourself and you're using this as an opportunity because you know years from now you'll be very happy when you bought at these levels. Okay, if you like Nasdaq way back in January, you like it a lot more now, right? So that's that, guys. So day to day, as I said, as I mentioned in the chat room, guys. So if you have any questions, give us an ad. We're happy to help. You can DM us on Discord as well. Happy to help. Thank you for being a part of the team, and of course, any questions you have, just let us know, guys. So happy Sunday. Futures open at 6 p.m. We'll keep an eye back at it, guys. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. And let's get this money. New week, new money. Cheers, guys.